probably 20 years ago when I first went to Albuquerque when we did some of our first real estate deals there. And I was really blown away by the old motels along there. And in fact, and really didn't even know the first time I was there that was Route 66 going through downtown Albuquerque. And, but I would have to say it was the motels that really intrigued me the most, because it just brought back so many memories of going on road trips when you're a kid in the family station wagon. In fact, the funny thing about that property is I went by that thing, hundreds of times over the years, and I had no idea that the city owned it. And it had a chain link fence around it. But it was so iconic, and the architecture was so beautiful that, I always dreamed about doing a project like that. And so I always talk about old real estate having souls. And I first kind of came up with this concept when I was restoring the house I live in, when my kids would complain about sanding or stripping paint on boards when we were restoring it. I would tell them that, every time you take a layer of paint off or do this, that you're bringing back this soul that's in this house, and it's getting happy and it's coming back to life. And it's a weird thing. I think about that a lot when we're doing these projects, about the soul being restored back. One of the most unique finds that we came across was in one of the walls. We found a whiskey bottle, Green River whiskey, and it had a note inside of it. And so my brother, who actually was in charge of construction, he brought that back to our the suite we were staying in and that night, and so I said, well, let's pull that thing out. So we got a pair of tweezers, and we actually dig this note out, and it was from 1937.
Wow!
I think it was April 1937. And it was signed by three gentlemen. I don't recall their names, but it said, "We built this place."
Wow!
So this was a really unique opportunity to convert these small rooms, which are about 200 square feet each, into mini restaurants. So the idea was to make something for people to come to all during the week and on the weekends, not even if they weren't, guests in our boutique rooms. And so it was a way to activate, something that was no longer relevant. And we actually have the front half of the motel that faces Central and Route 66 is all restaurants. It was targeted specifically to first-time business owners, and that's exactly what we got there. It was so, you have these business owners that are very, very passionate about that one thing that they do. It's hard for people to open their own restaurant, and so there's all these talented people that are out there, but that barrier to entry to getting into a restaurant is very, very high. It's very expensive. We took that away by putting that infrastructure in place for them. And then we rented these spaces to them on very flexible terms, short term. And the thinking was, you didn't really have to bet your life savings on this idea that you had. You could get in without a huge expense, but everyone has renewed there and no one has left yet. And I don't think anyone's thinking about leaving. They really like it.